morning. We're here at the library conference room at the San Diego Yacht Club and interviewing a longtime member of the club, Dorothy Wheeler. The date is January 8th, and it's about 10:30 in the morning. And the interviewer is Oliver Peter. Hopefully Jane Kenny will join us a little later and be part of this interview.
Here.
You're late.
I'm late, but that's okay.
Well,
I've been giving
Jane
wrong
Kenny,
information.
Jane Kenny has just joined us, and we're looking at some old pictures of the Sabots and some of the early days. Now, tell me about the name. How did the name SSS
Well, that was Margie Oliver.
come up?
We had kind of a wild day on the bay, and we were sitting on the lawn relaxing. The sail washing area over there by the junior clubhouse, and we were talking about a name, and she looked around and she said, "Oh boy, we really look sexy, don't we? Here our hair was down, and you know we were half wet and so forth." And she said, "We could call us the Sexy Sabot Sailing Set." So we said, well, we weren't going to say that, but we would agree to SSSS. So that's how it came.
What do they call it now? Jane?
Senior Sabots.
Senior Sabots. So it's
Senior
still
Sabot
SSS.
Sailors, yes, it's still SSSS. We just don't like to mention the sexy part.
Once I got in a Sabot, that's what I wanted.
Well, tell me now, did you get into the Sabot?
Well, with Jack Wood, but then most everybody had a kid with a Sabot, and so they wanted to do the Sabot. So he said, "Well, okay." So we started racing the Sabots. We would cautiously go out. You know, he was there giving us advice. Connie Melhorn came down one day and she said, "Here, look at this. There's a regatta at Alamedas Bay." And she says, "Do you think we'd like to go?" She says, "If you do, I'll write him or call him." So she wrote him a letter or called him, I don't know which. And she said, "Can we put on our hard hats and come up? We're absolutely inexperienced," and so forth. So we went up there, and I don't think anybody won anything, but it was our first regatta. And then when we came back, Jack Wood still helped us.
Yeah, the ridiculous Rikers Regatta.
Yeah,
That's what they referred to it as.
You know that Laurie Dodson had an alliterative name for every regatta that we gave here. And so that's why you got the raucous.
Now, did you have your 29-foot boat at that time when you started Sabots?
Well, we had a boat of some kind, either the 24 or the 29. But we had a lot to learn. But we're not the only ones.
But Jack was the real inspiration then for the ladies.
Yeah, he was.
I have an article here from the LA Times.
Oh, really?
That was dated, let's see, November 19th, 1981.
Oh, yeah.
And
I have trophies.
it refers to they call it a Rankus race here, and this is a time when the people from the north came down and raced with you a lot. So at that time, I think you had let's see, something like 59 boats, or
oh, yeah.
a lot of different boats.
Bob kept having to help me load this and load that. And when Jack Wood retired, Bob just moved into a spot, and Bob was very quiet and non-committal, you know, and he was the perfect person. He'd come down there faithfully. He could take care of it took 3 men to replace him.
So, but that worked out pretty well with the ladies, not being too talkative, just being there and giving them support.
Yeah, and he would drive us to the regattas. We went as far as Marina del Rey, which we named Bagel Bay, and we were the terror of the West Coast. Actually, we won everything, and I even won something once in a while.
So, in sailing with the Sabots was the first time you started racing.
Yeah, we didn't know how to race, but we learned.